Hey friends, before we start our first official Focused on Suppliers show, I just wanted to take a moment and say thank you. It's so great to be back in the area, and I know a lot of people have asked me, why have I come back? It's simple. It's the people in the area of Northwest Arkansas. And 8th and Walton, of course, with this wonderful opportunity. I know you want to know more about them, so let's find out together. If you want to get to know this company, that means one of my favorite people, Marie Clapper. Say hi.
Hello there, and we're glad you're here. Very glad you're here.
It's been so fun. Okay, we're going to get to know some of the folks in the office.
Sounds good.
Now it's time to meet Cameron Umbarger. And Cameron, you were telling me you guys are kind of the first extension, if you will.
Yeah, we're basically the first contact with the supplier. We reach out to suppliers all over the U.S., Canada, and Mexico and let them know what we're about. We do solutions, services, and other retailing trainings for suppliers. We're basically the aspirin to their supplier headaches.
Cameron, we all need aspirin. All right, thank you. There's just so much to share and so little time, but hopefully we can interrupt quickly and talk with Jeff Clapper. Excuse me, Lisa. Jeff, I know you're busy at work. Speaking of, tell the folks at home why 8th and Walton is so important when it comes to the vendor community, suppliers, and working with Walmart.
Absolutely. Well, we provide a lot of education, media, consulting, things that help suppliers get the knowledge and the information they need quickly and efficiently. There's a lot at stake, and certainly time is of the essence, so we help avoid costly mistakes and learning problems and just bring people right to where they need to be.
And put efficiencies in place. Speaking of, get back to work. I need to get back to work too. Oh my gosh, it's almost time to do the show. Welcome to Focus on Suppliers, brought to you by 8th and Walton, the premier destination for supplier development, and sponsored in part by Dun & Bradstreet, the leading provider of credit and credibility solutions. I'm Neile Jones, your host of Focus on Suppliers. In our first episode, we're going to take a look at the pet category. We'll talk about everything from fish to how pets can help people with ALS. And we're also going to sit down with Robin himself from Batman and Robin. We're talking about Burt Ward. Don't miss what he has to say about animals and his new pet food. But first, your Millennial Minute from Saatchi and Saatchi X.
Hi, this is Jessica Hendrix with Saatchi and Saatchi X. I've got your millennial fun fact. Did you know that 47% of millennials actually think it's better to have a pet than join a social media dating website? Well, what we're here to talk about is how we can get millennials to shop differently and change their behavior by tapping into their emotions and understanding what matters to them most. Ultimately, we know millennials are getting pets earlier at 21 years of age versus 30 years of age like their Boomer and Generation X counterparts. That means they're going to be pet shoppers for a longer period of their life. They're looking for products that are BPA-free, organic foods, and things that are really going to allow them to connect and feel better about pet ownership. So when we talk to them in store or in their social media hangouts, we want to make sure that we're talking about things that are important to them. This is Jessica Hendrix with Saatchi and Saatchi X. I'll see you for our next Millennial Minute.
Welcome back to Focus on Suppliers. We've been talking today about pets, and it's easy to get caught up in only focusing on cats and dogs, but Brian Hogate is with us today from Spectrum Brands, and you were just telling us the third most popular pet.
That's correct. Live fish is the third most popular pet.
Now, a lot of people don't realize that.
That's true. That's true. So the draw really for live fish is that it really adds beauty to the home. It's very relaxing. People like to just sit and enjoy their aquarium, listen to the water flow. So it's really a great thing. Another great benefit to live fish in an aquarium in the home is it's a great first pet for kids.
And there's not a lot of upkeep.
There's really not. You know, it only takes about 20 to 30 minutes a month. It's really a pretty simple three-step process. You remove about 25% of the water. You add new water back, and then you want to treat that water with something like AquaSafe that removes the chlorine and chloramines from the water, makes it safe for the fish. And then what you want to do is add in a product that we just came out with that really helps make fish keeping simpler. It's called Safe Start. And what that does is it actually adds a good bacteria into the water that help keep that ecological balance in the water. And then the third thing that you want to do is replace your filter cartridge. That helps keep the water crystal clear. Those 3 steps, easy, good to go.
Okay, now we were talking about trends, and the fish that you brought today are on point with the trend that you're seeing.
That's correct, yes. So the fish that we have with us today are glowfish. And glowfish are a fluorescent fish that actually fluoresce under a blue light. Now you can do one of 2 things. You can have a dedicated glowfish aquarium, or you can actually add glowfish to your existing aquarium and kind of add some new colors and uniqueness to the tank.
It's really fun. Now, I want to be sure and talk about some things that you've learned in your years in working in this industry. And we were talking about packaging and what is important for suppliers to remember.
Okay, so what we're seeing is a trend on shelf with less and less POP material that's available. The retailers don't want to clutter the space up. And so what we've done is we've actually used our packaging to deliver the message to the consumer and educate them better on things like, in the case of the fish tank, how many fish they can keep in the tank, what kind of fish are compatible with one another. Some really great information that we're able to provide them right there on shelf with the packaging.
And you were saying, because everybody wants to talk about shelf space, how much shelf space you get, where do you put things, and you were saying there's one thing to keep in mind.
That's a great point. And so the point that I made that we talked about earlier was you have to remember that the consumer is looking for a need. They have a need. And we're here as suppliers to fill that need and to meet that need and create a solution for the consumer. So if we're not meeting that need and filling that solution, there's really no need for our product.
Well, thank you so much for coming and talking with us today about some of the new products that are out and also the trends that we're seeing. We appreciate you, Brian, for being with us. We'll be right back with more Focus on Suppliers.
Welcome back. 2 very special guests with us today, Bo and Bo's dad, which I should probably say is actually Rick Dahl. You are Vice President of Mars Pet Care for Walmart stores. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Neile. Glad to be here.
I'm so glad you brought Bo. Bo goes to work with you. This is a very typical thing in the Mars office.
It is, yeah. All of our associates are encouraged to bring their animals to work. It kind of helps us, reminds us of our vision, which makes the world a better place for pets.
So true. And pets are really part of the family now. Let's talk about health and wellness when it comes to pets, because that's something Mars really does a good job of, making sure that the pet food they offer is healthy.
And yet it is. And you see the brands here, the IMs that I brought to the studio today. Humanization is a trend that's been going on in the pet food industry for over the last 20 years. Mm-hmm. It's constantly evolving. What humanization meant before versus what it means now is different. And the most recent version and the most macro trend that I would like to talk about is how pets view themselves, how owners view themselves and how they see themselves in pets. So if I'm an owner who enjoys exercise, I'm going to walk my dog. If I'm eating natural foods, I'm going to look for foods that are natural for my animal. And that's where the category is growing. And it's actually a dynamic, fun, great category. I've never enjoyed working on a business more than this one.
Well, that's what you like to hear. Also, when you talk about that dynamic, you have to talk about portion control. If you're eating healthier, you're probably trying to keep your pet healthier.
That's very true, and I should probably do a better job of portion control, but certainly for cats now, we have a new product at Shiba's called Perfect Portions. And the unique thing about the product is the packaging, number one, but secondly, it gives you the flexibility to break it in half and ensure that you've got just the right amount of food for your cat, and you don't have that messy dilemma of what do I do with what's left over after the fact. So.
Well, and if your cat's eating too much, they become overweight, there's health issues, and nobody wants that for their pet. So this is a great option, and it's easy to travel with as well, I would think.
It absolutely is, and then you've got the Temptations, which are for cat treats, and talk about bonding with a very independent animal like your cat. This is the most palatable thing you can actually feed your cat now.
Cat can be a little bit harder to bond with. I'm more of a dog person, but I like both. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's good to hear about all these products and to see that we're doing a better job of keeping our animals healthy as well as our families. And I like the change in the packaging. Is there anything else you want to say about the trends that we're seeing in this category?
You know, it's about variety is another trend that pet owners. You don't like to eat the same thing every day, nor do I. So we're seeing a lot of variety that we're seeing owners expect with pets. So different flavors, different varieties of pet food are also very trendy right now.
Okay, well, I believe it. You guys do have a lot of options, and this will make my dog very happy when I go back to the store. Great. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be right back with more Focus on Suppliers.
Now we have Stan Zylowski with Movista. Welcome, Stan.
Thank you.
What's hot in retail?
What's hot right now is unification.
Unification, what is that?
Well, it's all about having a single platform, a single place where manufacturers, third-party folks, retailers can all look at the same data at the same time in the same way. One version of the truth.
And so they're coming to companies like yours to develop this?
Yeah, that's right. So Movista is really founded around the concept of let's make sure all the people in the field know what they need to know and everyone back at the central office knows what they need to know. And that's sort of been expanded over to making sure the retailer knows what they need to know. And so what we're seeing now is the development of this interconnected web where when a group goes into a store to do merchandising work, no matter which party they're representing, they're wanting to share that information around with all the related groups and ensure that all the stakeholders know what's going on.
Let's share a little bit more about that. We're talking about the retailer, the supplier, and the third party out there.
That's right.
But there's different third parties out there right now. Are you looking at one system that brings all of these together?
Well, you're either going to have a single system or you're going to have an interconnecting mechanism for all of the different systems that exist out there. What it feels like now is there's sort of a rush to the goal. So in other words, there's going to be some folks who emerge as the leaders in this space.
Okay.
They're going to have the platform that's servicing all of these different parties. And it's really not about manipulating the data in any way. It's really about just giving people access to the truth as fast as you quickly can so they can act on it and make categories better.
So let's use an example of the pet department.
Sure.
So the third party is out there and they're looking at displays, they're looking at on-shelf, looking at all these different factors. They used to just share this back with the supplier, right? They would put something together to do that. What you're saying is they're now going to be sharing it with the retailer as well.
It's important for a supplier to know that the dog bone modular hasn't been reset, as an example, right?
Okay.
But the sooner that the merchant knows that, the sooner they can act against it, because we know the process is first I know, and then I relay that back to the merchant side of the business, and they work with the ops side. But if we can cut out the middle processes there, everything happens faster, and the customer's happy and better served.
Well, Stan, thanks for coming in. You are always on the cutting edge, and we appreciate that so much.
Thank you.
Focus on suppliers. We'll continue in just a moment.
Bentonville Plaza, across the street from the Walmart home office. The best office location offers proximity and services like no other business complex in the area. Call 479-200-1112 today.
Mach 1 Financial Group has moved to Bentonville. Now we're easier to find and even better equipped to assist you with your financial needs. Visit us at our new location, 408 North Walton Boulevard, and check out our state-of-the-art Lunch and Learn conference room.
GigWalk is transforming how work gets done. As the leading mobile workforce management platform, GigWalk provides companies with mobile tools and a data-driven approach to improving business efficiency. Leading brands and retailers use GigWalk to manage their field teams and to mobilize 750,000 GigWalkers to collect data intelligence about their business and brands. Are the shelves stocked? Are my products priced competitively? Are the correct promotions in place? Visit us at gigwalk.com to learn more. GigWalk, make work better.
You can't talk about the pet category without talking about birds. And that brings us to our next guest, Nathan Lembke from Infinity Feeders. And just to kind of cut to the chase, the innovation behind this is awesome. You were a bird watcher and you noticed that you couldn't see the birds when they were eating. It was difficult, and you came up with a solution.
Right, exactly. That's basically about 10 years ago. I started to kind of tweak a design I had in my mind over the last few years. I got to a point I really liked the feeder, and then I said, this is really a feeder I can see on the Walmart shelves one day. So I went out and found a supplier partner named Heath Outdoor Products, and they've manufactured it for me, and we're now in Walmart stores.
Which is awesome to see that come to fruition. Explain what the gem is behind this, because it's really pretty neat, but you have to show it.
Yeah. So most feeders, so this is the feeder. It's actually out of its package already. Most feeders today have the seed stored right here in the center. And when you do that, you block the view of the feeding birds. My feeder, the Infinity Feeder, moves the seed from here down to here. So it doesn't matter how much seed's in it, it always feeds level with the feeding platform. It holds about 5 pounds of seed and allows you to see the birds no matter what angle you're looking at them from.
That's so neat. And just to have this developed in our own backyard, and we talked about you went from selling on the Bentonville Square, now you're in Walmart. This was actually a finalist for one of Walmart's competitions.
Well, so Walmart has awards each year for their suppliers, and it was nominated this year for one of the innovative items in the categories.
I just love that. Thank you so much for joining us. And guess what? You can win one of these, but to find out how, you'll have to go to our social media pages. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the heart of business. This is one of my favorite things about Focus on Suppliers, and in fact about the supplier community in Northwest Arkansas, how we support our local nonprofits. Speaking of, Jennifer Necessary with us today to talk about ALS in the Arkansas chapter. So important to continue to support your organization. You saw a lot of attention during the Ice Bucket Challenge. We need to keep that momentum going with education. How can we do that?
Well, Neile, we constantly are needing, additional supporters to be able to continue to allow us to support these families and these pals, which is a person living with ALS. It's such a financially debilitating disease, not only just as far as what it does to their body. So we just need supporters to just get out there with us, help us continue to make such a positive difference in a life for such a devastating cause.
Yeah, we're talking about the expense of it. You said per person it can be about $250,000 a year to help one family. So we really need to be supportive, and a good example of changes you can see. Kevin, you were telling me all about Kevin and so excited about him. I don't know him, but I feel like I do. Share with our viewers more about him.
Kevin Thompson is one of our precious pals in the Little Rock area, and Kevin's been battling his disease for about 2 years now, and recently, about 9 months ago, Kevin was blessed by a German Shepherd named Dyson, who was trained with the Paws in Prison program, and Kevin took ownership of Dyson, and it has made a complete difference in Kevin's life. Kevin's wife has to continue to work to bring in an income to help them, and so every day he has a companion at home with him, and for his mental state it has totally changed his outlook because someone is there with him, and Dyson is command trained that Kevin can tell him to go to the refrigerator, get him a Coke, and it is unbelievable, Neile. It gives you the chills when you see this act going on, and then also to get outside, he can get the paper, open the front door if somebody's there delivering something that Kevin needs, and most importantly, if Kevin were to get into a situation where he was choking or something had happened to him, Dyson knows to go outside and bark and go around until he can find someone that can come and help him with Kevin. So it has made a huge difference in Kevin's life.
He can depend on the dog but still have a sense of independence and help with depression, which you said is something that a lot of people battle when they start to slowly lose body function and mental function. So just a great thing. And you said at one point Kevin and Dyson went back to the prison and met with the prisoner that trained Dyson, and Dyson listened to his trainer but then went right back to Kevin when it was time.
It is just a fabulous story. We're so excited to be partnered with this program, to be able to get these therapy dogs in homes of our patients.
Quickly, if someone wants to support your organization, how can they contact you or how can they make a donation? What can we do?
Go on our website, which is www.als-arkansas.org, or call the office, which is 479-621-8700.
Jennifer Necessary, always good to see you. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Neile.
We'll be right back.
Today we have David Erstine with CBRE. Welcome, David.
Thank you for hosting me.
While many of us have seen the CBRE signs outside of this market, they're just now starting to come into our market. Tell us a little bit about that.
That's correct. With over 400 offices worldwide, CBRE is the world's largest commercial real estate provider. Locally, we have an experienced team of professionals that are assisting clients with several brokerage services. Today, we'd like to talk to you about office tenant representation.
Okay, and what is that?
Well, think of it as if when you are looking for your dream home, you might hire a residential real estate agent to go out into the marketplace and bring you back options to help you secure the best
deal. So suppliers are looking for somebody to help them with their office needs.
That's correct.
Right?
So we help space occupiers find a suitable working environment.
And why is it important that they consider CBRE?
Well, it could be it's a cumbersome process that we like to break down in 3 stages to help save our clients time. Those stages are situation analysis, option development, and project implementation. Situation analysis is where we listen to our clients' space needs, work on their requirement, go to the market, find options, and then project implementation is we work with those clients on the build out, the move in, and follow-up services.
Okay, and what's follow-up services?
Follow-up services, as many businesses are very elastic in their space needs based on a variety of reasons. They may need to grow or retract space. We like to be a part of their team where we're constantly having a conversation or a dialogue with that client so we understand when's
Sure.
the best time to make a potential move.
Well, and let's talk about that. When is the right time? When should suppliers be talking to you?
It is never too early to start that conversation because it is a lengthy process. So I would say whether you've got an immediate space need or you've got a lease renewal coming up in a year or two, now is a great time to have a conversation.
Great. So many of our viewers know that the real estate market is cyclical. What's happening right now?
Well, now demand is up and developers are moving quickly to meet that demand with several new projects. So in Northwest Arkansas, we've got a number of office projects getting ready to be built. So over the next year, it's truly an exciting time to watch the Northwest Arkansas real estate market.
Yeah. David, well, it sounds like a great and exciting time, and it sounds like you provide a great service for suppliers.
Thank you for having me.
Focus on suppliers. We'll be right back.
K-Stack, the leader in collaborative retail consolidation programs. We offer the supply chain expertise needed to navigate the challenges of selling products with the world's largest retailers. And we provide customers with a customizable, scalable, environmentally sustainable supply chain with the same advanced technology typically used by larger rivals. By leveling the playing field, K-Stack lowers distribution costs and increases overall margins. K-Stack, retail logistics is what we do.
The CPG Toolbox Trade Planner. Trade promotion management in the cloud. For 1/10 the cost of on-premise TPM software, this cloud-based tool provides a full-function, closed-loop trade promotion management solution. You can even manage your food service or institutional contract and rebate funds in the cloud. Take a moment to view the CPG Toolbox Trade Planner demo. See for yourself how it can improve your trade promotion ROI and your bottom line.
You've been hearing us talk about it throughout this show, and I'm so excited that with us today is Burt Ward, many of you know from Batman and Robin. Thank you so much for coming all this way.
It's great to be here.
We have many wonderful things to talk about, obviously Gentle Giants, but before we get to that, let's talk a little bit about how you became Robin.
Well, it was quite a process. There was 1,100 young guys that tried out for the role, and besides doing parts as Dick Grayson, that was the alternate identity of Robin, and then in costume, scenes with Batman. I also had to do some physical stuff because Robin was very athletic, and I was a black belt in karate. And then when it came time to select, the fact that I was selected, the producers asked me, would you like to know why out of 1,100 young actors we chose you? And I said yes. And they said the reason we picked you, Bert, was because if there really was a Robin, I mean for real, you would be it. So we don't want you to quote act. We want you to be yourself and be enthusiastic. And that's what I did for 120 episodes.
And loved every minute of it.
Well, yeah, I'm still climbing the walls, but for different reasons.
For different reasons. And you've remained friends with your castmates.
Oh, Adam and I have always been great friends. Not all actors work together, well, that are co-stars, but Adam and I have always been great friends. We still go out on the weekends and make these huge appearances at these memorabilia shows, filling convention centers.
How do you go from Robin to all of a sudden rescuing all these animals? Tell the folks at home, how many animals?
The best way to describe it is I was the Caped Crusader, and now I'm the Canine Crusader.
Love it.
And my wife and I started 21 years ago rescuing Great Danes because where we moved, we had rescued one, and we heard about other ones that needed rescue, but there was no longer a rescue. We just actually rescued one from a private party, and we got 2 of them. And then a month later, we kind of just were asking around, did the others get homes? And we found out everyone was put to death. Because even though at the time they were in someone's home, eventually if somebody has to give up a dog, and if there's nobody to take it, it goes to a shelter. So we said, well, this is a terrible injustice. These are the sweetest dogs in the world. In fact, the bigger they are, the more gentle they are. So I said to my wife, Tracy, I said, look, just temporarily, for a couple of weeks, right? Let's just rescue these dogs. A couple of weeks, we'll find somebody, no problem, and they'll take it over. It's been 21 years. Nobody has taken it over. And we started from one breed of Great Danes, where now we have 45 different breeds, and we just in the last couple months went over 15,000 dogs that we've rescued. Everyone lived in our house with us. I have at all times 45 to 50 in my house. Everyone we provided food, shelter, complete medical care, and found a safe, loving home.
Now that brings me to my next thought. Obviously, you're here today to talk to us about a wonderful new product. One of the categories we continue to see grow at Walmart is the pet category. Yes. Animals are our extended family. I know for me, for the millennials, the centennials, we're continuing to see that change. Whereas before it was just kind of, oh, a pet. Now it really is part of the family, and you want them to live longer and a healthier life. And that's kind of how we got here with your dog food.
Yes, well, if you go to all the trouble to save a dog, and literally we have brought them in, we're an international organization. We have flown in dogs from Taiwan, from Denmark, from Italy, and if you go to all the trouble and to spend the thousands of dollars to bring them here, you want them to live as long as possible. And what we found out, our breeds, the Great Danes, were only living 7 to 9 years. We would find a way to help them live longer. And what we found out was, first of all, that you need to care for dogs differently than traditionally. So we care for dogs differently. 2, how we feed dogs is different than how everybody else feeds dogs. And by doing those 2 things, care and feeding, how you feed them, we averaged 3 years increase to every dog's life. So instead of 7 to 9 years, our Great Danes were living 10 to 12. But we knew that we wanted to go further. And what we did is we created a food that is not like any other dog food. It's not like any other food. And what our dog food does is, and this is real and we have it documented, we got the photos you can put on the screen, we have doubled and in some cases tripled the lifespan of dogs.
This product, obviously, one of the things that you and I have talked about, and we're running low on time, so I want to make sure we talk about why Walmart and why you think this dog food is so good for the dogs that will be eating it. So first, let's address for suppliers, one of the things that we talked about was what's important to give them and what's important, the customer, and what's important about partnering with Walmart.
Well, Walmart was the ideal place to come to because, in my opinion, they want the highest quality at the lowest price for the customer, okay? Our whole focus is longevity life. So we made a product, okay, that retails in Walmart for less than half the price of a dog food in a pet store that won't keep your dog living 27 years like some of our dogs are living. So we made the highest quality at the lowest price. So for the Walmart customer, I mean, if you love your dog, I mean, your store managers at Walmart level are offering life. That's what they're selling. They're selling life for some of the most valuable, man's best friend.
And with the world's largest retail, you can obviously get exposure you couldn't get anywhere else. Exactly. We are unfortunately out of time, but we will have more of this interview on the internet for you, so be sure and check it out. And also I want to mention that you'll be able to get this dog food at walmart.com very soon. To learn more, head to our website.
Retail Solutions is the market leader helping advance reporting and analytics with Walmart suppliers around the globe. We manage the data for you, automate data integration, attribution, and reports, and then help you focus on activities that will drive the most value. To do this, RSI works with you to perform a business value assessment to identify the largest value opportunities in your business. If improving results in sales through better insights and execution and efficiencies are important to you, contact RSI today.
Bentonville Commerce, less than 1 mile from the Walmart home office. You'll love the convenience, amenities, and customized options Bentonville Commerce offers. For more information or a tour, call 479-200-1112 today.
With weekly coverage at Walmart and a customized end-to-end approach to retail, it's easy to see why brands like Google, Samsung, Procter & Gamble, and Kellogg's choose premium retail services. Results are in store.
Hi, this is Matt with Collective Bias. Did you know that there are over 23 million pets with Facebook profiles? In fact, Grumpy Cat, a web celebrity, actually has more views, almost 13 million, than Newsweek. Pets are very engaging, and it's wonderful to be able to tell a story using pets. In fact, for Purina's grain-free cat food, we actually had influencers out there telling stories like how to walk your cat on a leash. But also, you don't need to be a pet supplier to weave pets into a story and to make that story more shareable. Recently, Eureka Vacuums just did a very successful campaign where we leaned on pet owners and how Eureka Vacuums help keep their lives clean. In fact, that campaign garnered almost 50,000 social shares. This is Matt Davis. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for joining us for this season's premiere of Focus on Suppliers. I'm your host, Neile Jones. Next week, we take a look at the food category and we talk with a special guest. You probably know her as the Pioneer Woman. We'll see you then.
Our guests enjoy staying at the 21C Museum Hotel and hosting dinner, meetings, and product launches there.